Hi, my name is Anat-phys. Today is November 9th, 2020. This is the back of this paper. These are the pictures that I will be referring to. And here are the directions that I printed out from online. So I'm first going to start off by talking about the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland right here has an anterior and posterior portion to it. It is located inferior to the hypothalamus, and if we look at it in relation to the brain, it is right here. It is anterior and superior to the pons. The posterior portion of the pituitary gland is, I forgot to mention that it's about 1 centimeter in diameter, but the posterior portion of it is, its function is to secrete the hormones ADH and oxytocin, and the anterior portion of it is to secrete the thyroid stimulating hormone, growth hormone, the thyroid stimulating hormone, the growth hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and adrenal corticotrophic hormone. So overall, it secretes several more hormones than the posterior side of the pituitary gland. Moving on to the thyroid hormone, it is located, it covers the trachea anteriorly and laterally, and it is in the shape of a butterfly, and it is inferior to the larynx. It is made of cuboidal epithelium, and overall its function is to maintain the body's energy and maintain blood levels of calcium and phosphate. Moving on to the adrenal gland, it is here. It sits on top of the kidneys, and it is a pyramid shape. It is covered with fat and a connective tissue and a fibrous capsule of tissue, and it has an outer cortex, which is it has an outer cortex which secretes 3 hormones that include the sex hormones and mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids, and the medulla inside secretes norepinephrine and epinephrine during stressful situations. Here we have the endocrine portion of the pancreas. So this is the pancreas. It is tucked away in the duodenum, and it is located in the top up left quadrant of the stomach. Its functions are, it has alpha, beta, and delta cells which produce Langerhans cells, which produce insulin and glucagon. And moving on to question number 2, the relationship of the hypothalamus, the hypophysis, which I'm going to call the pituitary gland, and other glands is the hypothalamus is known as the command center, and it produces hormones which then travel to and are secreted by the hypophysis, the pituitary gland, which then are secreted and targeted at other glands, which then causes those glands to secrete other hormones. So an example of this would be the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is produced in the hypothalamus, secreted by the pituitary gland, and targeted at the thyroid gland, which then gives it its own directions to do the job of the thyroid, as well as secrete other hormones from there. So this is important to understand because we need to be able to differentiate primary, secondary, and tertiary endocrine disorders. It is important to understand this, to know and understand where the problems are in the process of the distribution of these hormones. So the primary an issue with the primary endocrine disorder occurs when there are any issues with any of the downstream hormones being released. Secondary endocrine disorders occur when there are issues with the pituitary gland, and tertiary endocrine disorders occur when there are issues with the primary endocrine disorders. I made a mistake. Primary endocrine disorders occur when there are issues with the hypothalamus. So really quick again, tertiary endocrine disorders occur with issues with the hypothalamus. Secondary endocrine disorders occur when there are issues with the pituitary gland, and tertiary endocrine disorders occur when there are issues with any of the downstream hormones being released. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.